Everyone thinks Roth conversions are the best way to save on taxes. But after helping hundreds retire, I found 3 types of retirees who should never do them. So in this video, I'll show you who those retirees are, and the simple way to know if Roth conversions can actually save you taxes in retirement. To start, I'm going to show you the type of retiree who could lose $10,000 per year by doing Roth conversions, so you don't make the same mistake. Dino is retiring this year and heard that Roth conversions could save him thousands in taxes. Since he was in a low bracket, he could move money into his Roth and paid much less in taxes than if he waited until later when his bracket went back up. This sounds like a no-brainer, but it was actually a mistake that cost him over $10,000. Since Dino retired before he was eligible for Medicare, he would need to get health insurance from the marketplace to bridge the gap. And in his county, a good plan would cost him over $1,100 per month. The good news was that when Dino went online and put in his information, he would be eligible for a tax credit of $844 per month, covering most of the cost of his insurance and saving him over $10,000. But what he didn't realize was that doing a Roth conversion could lose him that entire credit. This shows the government website you can use to check your eligibility for a tax credit towards your insurance in my home state of Illinois. To estimate your premium, they ask for 3 things: your zip code, your date of birth, and your income. Dino planned to live off his investments the first few years of retirement, so his income was only $40,000. That low income is what makes him eligible for that $844 per month tax credit. The problem with this is that when Dino decided to do a Roth conversion, he didn't plan for how it could affect his tax credit. Conversions stack on top of the income you already have. When we add that in, his income is actually $70,000, not $40,000. And based on that bigger income, instead of being eligible for $10,000 per year of tax credits, now he's eligible for 0. So if you're a retiree who's retiring early and may be eligible for a tax credit on your insurance, you want to avoid Roth conversions. Although paying taxes in a lower bracket might seem like it can save you money, it can cost you $10,000 per year. Next, I need to show you how triggering the tax trap almost no retirees plan for can turn Roth conversions into a huge mistake. This chart shows Dino's tax bracket over time. Right now, he's in the lowest bracket. But later, when his required IRA withdrawals start, they push him all the way up into the 22% bracket. So instead of paying those taxes at the higher bracket, why not pay them at the lower bracket now? When he converts up to that lower 12% bracket, instead of saving money, he ends up paying over $10,000 more in tax. And the reason is a hidden tax trap almost no retiree plans for. Let me show you what happens so you can avoid that same mistake. This chart shows Dino's income over time and where it comes from. Later on, these big orange withdrawals from his IRA start stacking up, and that's what pushes him into higher taxes. So the whole point of the Roth conversion is to move some of that orange over to today, when his taxes are low. But here's the part he didn't plan for. When we move money to Roth, it doesn't just move the orange section, the green section jumps too. And that green is Dino's taxable Social Security. Before the conversion, Dino's income was so low that almost none of his Social Security was taxable. You can barely see any green at all. But once he moves that money into a Roth, it pushes him over a point where almost his entire benefit is taxable. So now, he isn't just paying tax on the conversion, he's also paying tax on a bigger portion of his Social Security. And that's what turns a simple conversion into a $10,000 mistake. So if you're the type of retiree who can keep most of their Social Security tax-free, you may want to avoid Roth conversions, because converting in years like that can accidentally wake up taxes you weren't paying before. So now that you know this, I'm going to show you what can make that same Roth conversion an even bigger mistake, so you know if you should avoid it. Right now, Dino's in the lowest tax bracket, not because he isn't spending money, but because he's selling investments from his taxable account to pay for his lifestyle, while his IRA grows untouched. So it seemed like a great year to convert, but when he does, it costs him over $50,000. Here's why. Dino focused on filling up the 12% income tax bracket, which you can see he did perfectly. But instead of looking at his income tax bracket, let's switch this to his capital gains tax bracket, or what tax he pays when he sells those investments in his taxable account. Before, he was in the 0% bracket, so every time he sold investments, he could take all of those gains out tax-free. But once we add the Roth conversion in, it pushes him up into the 15% bracket. So the same investments he used to sell tax-free now cost him thousands of dollars in taxes, making the conversion a huge mistake. So if you're the type of retiree who can sell investments and pay 0% tax, you may want to avoid Roth conversions, or at least be careful when you do them. And now that you know the 3 types of retirees who should avoid Roth conversions, let me show you the simple way to know when conversions can actually save you money in retirement. This is what we call the Roth conversion sweet spot, the place where conversions make sense. And to be in the sweet spot, all three of these need to line up at the same time. First, your tax rate today has to be lower than your tax rate later. If RMDs, Social Security, or other income will push you into a higher bracket in the future, converting now lets you pay taxes at a discount. But if your future bracket isn't higher, a conversion doesn't create value. It just speeds up your tax bill. Second, you have to stay clear of hidden tax cliffs. Conversions can backfire when they trigger surprises like the ones we covered today. Social Security becoming taxable, losing ACA subsidies, or jumping out of the 0% capital gains bracket. These cliffs, along with others like Medicare surcharges, are what turn a small conversion into a big tax mistake, even if you're in a lower bracket. Third, you need cash on hand to pay the tax. You need to be able to pay the conversion tax with money from outside your IRA. Otherwise, you're creating extra withdrawals, extra taxes, and undoing the entire benefit of the strategy. Think about these three like links on a bike chain. If just one link breaks, the whole chain fails, and the strategy stops working. But when all three links are strong and connected, that's your sweet spot, when a Roth conversion can save you thousands. So now you know the three situations where Roth conversions are a mistake, and the sweet spot that shows you exactly when conversions can actually save you money. But here's what almost every retiree struggles with. Even when they shut down unnecessary taxes, they still can't get themselves to spend their savings with confidence. If that's you, watch this next. It shows you the data that helps retirees finally give themselves permission to enjoy their money without fear.